Okay, I'm conscious we've got quite a lot to cover today, and it's going to be for a couple of hours. We may have a little bit of time at the end that we can give back, but because we've got a lot to cover, we're going to get started. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is a Smart Reporting to BMC Helix Dashboards workshop. For those that have already attended them, it's quite an interactive session. There's a lot to learn today. So I'm going to go through a couple of reminders before I go through the agenda. So do remember that you've got the Q&A section of Zoom. So if you do have any questions during any of the slides that both Nikhil and Abhinay are going to share, feel free to put your questions into the Q&A. You will remain muted until we get towards the end, where we will take some of these questions live. So the agenda today, we're going to cover why BMC Helix Dashboards is the right dashboarding solution for service management, our best practices for report migration, a product demo. We'll go through the roadmap, and then we'll also have some time for the Q&A. But remember, the Q&A is also interactive during the session as well. Just a reminder for those that hopefully should have got an email from education, there was 2 courses that we recommended. Whilst we can't force people to do them, we do recommend they will really help you with your migration. So the 2 courses are listed here. If you did have any problems, then feel free to reach out to me, Samantha, and I will help connect you to education. So after that, just a reminder, because there's roadmap in here, we have got a legal notice. So if you can just take a few moments to read this. Nikhil will, towards the end, be sharing some roadmap slides. So with that, I'm now going to hand over to Nikhil, who's going to start with the introduction for BMC Helix Dashboards. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Sam. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our participants. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I am a product manager for BMC Helix Dashboards here at BMC Software. And today, along with my co-presenters, Abhinay and Kshitija and Ajinkya, we are excited to present to you a workshop that will help you make the transition from smart reporting to BMC Helix Dashboards. We've been running these workshops every month for more than 9 months now. And even now, we continue to get great attendance to these workshops. So that just shows the level of the interest that our customers and partners have in attending this workshop and in making the transition from smart reporting to BMC Helix Dashboards. So let's dive right in. Let's start with ServiceOps. What exactly is ServiceOps? For far too long, in IT organizations, there have existed broadly 2 functional units. There's the service desk or the service management side of IT, which is about service desk, the incident management, incident problem, service catalog, so service levels, and so all of that. And then there's IT operations management, which is about events, metrics, capacity, managing the IT infrastructure. And as we talk to customers, we continually get feedback that oftentimes these 2 organizations work in silos. The walls between these 2 organizations are not conducive for IT organizations to realize their goals. And then this isn't just about IT organizations anymore. The service management principles that started originally in IT a few decades ago have now been extended to lines of business. Today, any line of business or anyone, any function that is not in the business of serving external customers is in the business of serving internal customers. Everybody has got customers. And if you have customers, your customers expect you to meet and exceed the service level expectations they have, because everybody consumes technology in their personal lives. Everyone uses mobile apps, social media, and other apps in their personal lives, and they expect the same experiences, the same levels of service from the enterprise applications they use. In the past several years, we have also seen the growth of the DevOps movement. Software development is no longer limited to the IT function. Today, software is being developed by many lines of business, and these agile, nimble DevOps teams, they expect IT to facilitate the DevOps movement, not become an impediment. And with BMC Helix, with ServiceOps, we can assure them that we can facilitate the DevOps movement rather than be an impediment. So all of this is ServiceOps, and this is BMC's strategy in service management and operations management. Now let's see how dashboards or BMC Helix dashboards is an integral part of this strategy. BMC Helix Dashboards is built of Grafana, which is state-of-the-art technology for building reports and dashboards. Grafana presents information to users in an action-oriented way. Information needs to be presented in a way that instigates action. The consumer of information, there's a certain purpose why they're consuming the dashboards or report. They need to take action. Oftentimes it is corrective action, and these dashboards could be strategic or tactical. They could be in the typical service management or operations management domains like incidents, problems, changes, knowledge, and events, metrics, capacity, and so on. BMC Helix dashboards allows you to bring these two together. So ServiceOps isn't just limited to all other applications. Dashboards is an integral part of it. Also, it's important to note that dashboards isn't just Grafana. So we haven't just downloaded Grafana and rebranded it as BMC Helix dashboards. We have key IP with which we have enhanced the capabilities of out-of-the-box capabilities of Grafana. And these capabilities are mostly in exporting, scheduling, distribution, because we find that most consumers of information or dashboards typically consume the information offline. They don't do it online on the system. Most of them, a vast majority of them, typically executives, senior leaders, consume information offline. And that's why it's important to have those exporting and scheduling capabilities. BMC Helix Dashboards is available with all BMC Helix solutions. Dashboards is a common reporting and dashboards framework across all of these service management and operations management applications based on BMC Helix. This is what differentiates it from smart reporting. Smart reporting work great for ITSM and some of our other on-prem products, but smart reporting is just a point solution. Smart reporting it does not facilitate ServiceOps in any way. ServiceOps is about driving outcomes in one domain based on what happens in another domain. And with this, we have developed dashboards, and we continue to develop dashboards in such a way that it helps you make the most of all of your BMC Helix products. These are all the BMC Helix products with which BMC Helix Dashboards works. Definitely on the service management side, ITSM, CMDB, business workflows, digital workplace, live chat. If you have developed custom applications using BMC Helix Innovation Suite, which includes ARS, then you can use Helix Dashboards to build dashboards on your custom applications. Likewise, on the operations management side, all of the core BMC Helix ITOM products like Helix Operations Management, Helix Continuous Optimization, Automation Console, Log Analytics, Discovery, and so on. You can use dashboards to develop dashboards across all of these products. And this is unique. This is what differentiates it from smart reporting. Now let's look at a few sample dashboards. So I'll look at a few dashboards from the service management side first. This is a digital workplace request overview dashboard. Managing the service catalog, delivering the service catalog is an important goal for service desk teams, and they need to be on top of what's going on in service requests or in the service catalog. This dashboard gives you a good overview of what's going on in the service catalog. You see a few stats panels at the top. You see number of requests raised, active service requests, how many of these are awaiting approval, average age, and so on. You also see trends of submissions and fulfillments. One of the tasks of the service desk management team is workforce planning. And to do workforce planning, they need to be familiar with trends. Are there any patterns at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year, during holiday season? If your business if your business activity increases during a certain part of the year, then you want to know if that has a correlation with service desk activity or service catalog activity during that period. This dashboard allows you to understand that. You also see the top requested categories, the top requested services, and this can help you staff your service desk teams. This is a dashboard that pulls data across service management and operations management, and this is what ServiceOps is all about. On this dashboard, you see certain metrics from the item side. So for example, you see the health score, number of situations, actual availability, and so on. You see some service management metrics like open incidents, average age, and so on. And in the middle, you see a timeline. And the timeline gets data across both ITSM and ITOM. You can, with this timeline, you can correlate what's happening in the service management world based on anything that happens in the operations management world. A sudden spike in incidents, you can correlate with something that's happening with events or something else on the item side. You can also get a good overview of some of your key metrics such as MTBF and MTTR. BMC Helix Dashboards is packed with features to drive action. We've got a wide range of visualizations with which you can present data, you can communicate visually. Dashboards or reports are more than just data. To make an impact, you need to present that data in a way that makes it easier for the consumer of that dashboard to imbibe all that information. What's the takeaway for them when they are no longer looking at the dashboard? What are the top things you want them to remember? As you get familiar with all of these visualizations, you'll understand how best to use each of them. You'll see that some of these are out of the box Grafana, and there are some that BMC has developed. And all of these are prefixed with BMC. So you'll see BMC crosstab, BMC record details, bar chart, BMC combination chart. There's a BMC table that we just released. All of these are Grafana plus something new. And those new features are what we received from some of you and from several other customers. So we continue to tweak these BMC visualizations, BMC table, for example. You'll continue to see improvements so that even in future releases. Grafana is a proven technology for dashboarding. You may be wondering why I'm saying that dashboards is the BMC Helix Dashboards is the best dashboard solution. It's because Grafana is increasingly becoming popular, especially in the operations management world, but also we find that it is apt even for service management dashboarding. It is widely used in the market. You will easily find resources, that is people who have skills on Grafana, So in the job market, you'll find people with Grafana skills. It's even easy for your existing developers. uh, If you have your business analysts or developers who are familiar with smart reporting, it does not take them long to become familiar with dashboards. So it's a short learning curve for anyone to get up to speed and become productive quickly using BMC Helix dashboards. Now let's look at some of the dashboards that BMC IT has developed. BMC's IT function has implemented most BMC Helix products, and they do it in our IT function. So to manage our data centers, managing our service desk, our service management and operations management functions. So they have developed a few dashboards that I'm going to show you. This one is a CIO dashboard. It's used by not just the CIO, but other IT leaders. And it gives a quick overview of what's going on in IT. So at the top, you'll see data on events, critical major events, minor events, and how many business services, technical services, and so on. You'll see several other metrics at the bottom, number of virtual machines, number of databases, and so on. You'll also see a distribution of business services by outages. So which business services have had the most outages? IT leaders need to know about this so that they can take corrective and preventive action. What are the top, what are the most impacted technical services based on outage? So all of this is important for IT functions to be aware of, especially the IT leadership. Next one, we see a vCenter overview dashboard. If you use VMware vCenter, then this dashboard will help you keep watch over your VMware estate. So your communication status, availability, how many clusters you have, and so on. You'll also see CPU utilization, memory utilization, and so on. So your IT leaders can take corrective action based on any anomalies that they see here. This one is an availability dashboard. This uses gauges. The gauges are a good visualization to use for metrics that you want to, that metrics that are expressed as percentages, anything that's on a scale of 0 to 100. Availability, the best example is availability. You would expect ideally the availability of every business service, technical service to be 100%. Well, what is it actually? This dashboard gives you an idea of what the application availability is for your various applications. Now let's come to a few ITSM dashboards. This one is an incident aging analysis. All service desk teams are often under tremendous pressure to improve their productivity as well as deliver excellent services to their end users. And they're also accountable for making sure that incidents and service requests are close to the satisfaction of their users. And they are also expected to meet service level agreements. To do that, it's important for them to be aware of what inventory are they carrying, how many open incidents are there at any time. Then your ability to quickly execute, this is not just for service desk, it's for any human, is if you minimize the work in progress, you'll be able to deliver with speed. So this dashboard gives you an idea of how much your service desk team, how much inventory is your service desk team carrying in terms of open incidents in different time buckets, 7 to 14 days, 14 to 28 days, or more than a month, and so on. How many, the average reassignment. If the average reassignment count is high, it is indicative of lack of ownership. And this happens in many companies where there are certain incidents where teams aren't willing to take ownership and they just get reassigned from one support team to another. This is an area that service desk can focus on to improve their service and improve customer satisfaction. You also see this dashboard makes use of a distribution of open incidents by assigned groups. So different service desk teams, how many incidents are they carrying? How many open incidents are they carrying in different time buckets, 7 to 14, 14 to 30 days, and so on. Then at the bottom, you see a crosstab. A crosstab is a good visualization to use where you want to show a comparison of metrics across two dimensions. One of those dimensions is rows. Here we have taken priority. And the second one is columns. So here we have taken age of incidents. And by looking at this table, you can easily find out those areas that require attention. So for example, of the 763 total incidents less than 7 days, you see that 250 incidents are high priority. There are 335 of low priority. So if there's any corrective action that you need to take, this dashboard can help you in that direction. With that, I'm now going to hand off to Abhinay to present the next part of this workshop, which is about migrating from smart reporting to dashboards. So I covered what's great about dashboards, but if you are on smart reporting, which we guess most of you are, then how do you make a smooth transition from smart reporting to Helix dashboards and start making the most of Helix dashboards? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Abhinay.
Thank you, Nikhil. I'll share my screen. Please let me know when you can see it.
Yes, I can.
Right, perfect. Thank you. So, like Nikhil was saying, we have listened to why of the questions, why we want to move to this new platform, why we want to modernize our reporting system, what good comes out of it. Now we look at the question of how we are going to do this, and are there any lessons learned from others? So we'll talk about that as well. We'll present a sample migration strategy based on the best practices that we use, that BMC's own professional services use, and that you can use for your own journey. So based on our learnings, the way we divide this migration is in these 5 phases. It starts with a prepare phase, leads on to a plan, followed by a migrate and validate phase, and finally a transition. Prepare phase is where I would assume most of you are right now. So you're trying to get a better understanding of the two tools, the current tool that you're using, smart reporting, and how it is different or similar to the new platform, Helix Dashboard. So all of these awareness sessions, like the one that you are attending, the prerequisite trainings that you would have done before attending this session, all of them are basically part of this prepare phase. And there are more trainings available, which again, you can leverage for better preparation. And building on this, you go to the planning phase. This is where we want to understand how we are using the current platform, what features are we using, how much we are using, and how they map to the new platform. So this will give you a better idea about time and effort that will be needed for your own migration journey. Also part of planning phase would be how you are prioritizing and filtering your reports that you want to migrate. And based on that, you are creating a migration plan. Now, the next 2 phases, migrate and validate, they'll go hand in hand. And essentially what you are doing is migrating reports and we'll look at different options for that later in the session. And then checking with the end users, the consumers of the reports, whether the new report that meets their expectation or not, or if there are any improvements needed, which goes back to the migration team. So this goes iteratively, and once everything is good and users are comfortable with the new reporting, we move on to the transition phase. The reports are live in the production, and if you had an external team working with you, whether it's PMC professional services or a partner, then it will also include a knowledge transfer and a post-go live support by this team. Now, I have mentioned BMC PS in this slide and a few slides later, but feel free to substitute that with whoever is doing the actual migration. So it could be your own internal team, or it could be a partner. Now let's talk about assessment of our smart reporting usage. Now, I've listed four of the key object types in the two reporting worlds. There are many differences and similarities in the tool, but we don't want to talk about all of them in context of migration, because these are the ones, the ones you see listed, these are the ones which have the biggest impact on this migration. So we'll focus only on these for now. And the first thing that you would notice is the difference in the vocabulary of the two tools. So on the smart reporting world, you had all different type of objects. You had different report types. You had co-display reports with embedded child reports, or reports, standalone reports, which could have one or more visualizations. And then you had dashboards. But if you look at Helix Dashboard, everything is a dashboard in Helix Dashboard. So it can have one or more panels on it. And so you can see a co-display report essentially becomes a dashboard with multiple panels on it. And same is for a report with multiple visualizations. So it's essentially a dashboard with either a tabular panel or some other visualization on it, and you can have one or more of these. The other object types, broadcast and drill down, drill through, have similar concepts on the Helix dashboard side. You would also notice that not all of them have similar support in the migration utility. The two platforms are essentially very different technology. They are catering to different kind of use cases. So there are differences, and not every feature can be migrated as is into the new platform. Now, visualizations, you would see specific chart types are supported. So let's take a closer look at it. What do I mean by that? So what you see on this slide is the visualization types, as they are called in smart reporting and Helix dashboard. It's a mapping between the two. And for the most commonly used visualizations, you would find something either exactly same or very similar in Helix dashboard side. For example, you have different type of bar charts on smart reporting: horizontal bar, vertical bar, 3D, and so on, stacked. Whereas on Helix dashboard, you would see it simply says bar chart, and you just have to configure it which way you want it to appear. Same way, there are different visualizations which can be mapped to something similar in Helix dashboard. But also notice there are some which do not have something very similar in Helix dashboard. For example, thermometer. Like I said, the two platforms are essentially different, and there are differences in the visualizations available. So during migration, we need to be cognizant of this. And if there are visualizations which are not available in Helix dashboard, or the migration is not supported by the tool, we need to find alternative. So what visualization can best represent the data that you are looking at. Now that we broadly understand the key factors and their how they map in the new platform from old to new, let's talk about the assessment. How do we get all this information? So when we are doing an assessment, we have a lot of queries available on PMC documentation. The right-hand side, the queries listed are taken from PMC documentation. Link is also provided. So everything is available. And using these SQL queries, what we want to understand is the factors that you see listed on the left-hand side. So we want to understand the total volume of report. How many reports are we talking about? Because that will have probably the biggest impact on the migration timelines. The number two is what type of reports are we talking about and what visualizations are they using? So are we talking about a lot of co-display reports or standalone reports? Are the visualizations mostly supported, or there are a lot of ones which are not supported? What is the complexity of reports? Now, this will depend on what type of report it was. So if it's a co-display report, as you can imagine, the number of child reports will have a lot of impact on the complexity of the migration. The other factors would include advanced DB function usage, calculated fields, and so on. Next, we want to understand is how frequently this report is being run. And it helps us in understanding what's the priority of this report. How critical is that report for the end users? There may be reports which have not been used in years, so do we really want to migrate them? So frequency and associated parameter is when was it last accessed and who accessed it. So we can get to more granular details. The next one is other reporting features. So if that report is part of any dashboard, are there any broadcasts created on it? Are there linked reports to this? And all of this, like I said, can be taken, can be extracted using the SQL queries. What you see listed on this slide is a sample assessment that PMCPS did for one of our customers. And what you see here, the fields are essentially all the parameters that we talked about in the previous slide. So you have the hit count. So for this particular assessment, we did 90-day hit count. Every organization is different, so you may want to look at a different time period, different time window. Most of the customers do go for 90-day period. The next one is basically whether the report is marked public or private. The next we have is the type of visualization in that particular report, whether it's tabular, whether it is some other visualization. Next four columns are essentially count of different parameters, which are giving an insight into the complexity of that report. So the calculated number of calculated fields, DB function usage, report links. If it's a co-display, how many embedded reports are in there, and so on. Next we have is dashboard, if this report is part of other dashboard, and finally the broadcast created on this report. Now that we understand how we do an analysis of our smart reporting usage, let's put all of it together in a sample migration strategy. Again, every organization is different, and you may want to change this as per your organization structure. But this is broadly speaking, this covers all the main steps in a typical migration. And so it aligns to the 5 phases that we talked about at the start of my presentation. So it starts with the prepare phase. We've talked about that, awareness sessions, then which leads to the assessment. We talked about that. Once we have done that assessment, we use that data to filter and prioritize reports. So what we want to do here is essentially filter out all the reports that are not in use. They are not really useful for different reasons. So we don't need to migrate them. They are just inflating the count, and they are not really useful for the end users, consumers. So we filter them out. Next, we prioritize the remaining reports. So there may be a lot of reports, but then again, you would want to look at the hit count of last X number of days, and you may want to look at last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then think about how critical that report is, how often that report is being needed, and which are the reports that you need to go live with on day 0, day 1. So we prioritize what reports we want to migrate, and then we define a tighter scope for our pilot phase. Now it's very tempting that you have a conversion utility, you want to run it on all the reports that you want to migrate, but then again, we want to keep our phases, the migration phases, more focused. Especially this is useful for the end users who are going to do the review of those reports. So our tighter scope in pilot phase will help us in doing a better planning, at the same time, better validation. So we have defined our pilot scope, and next we essentially create a migration plan. What we are doing there is deciding for each of those reports whether we want to convert them or recreate them or reuse something. Now, what do I mean by that? Conversion is taking the SQL query as is from one platform to another. So you're not changing the report in any way. You are taking the same query the way it was running on the previous platform and simply transforming it into something acceptable to the new platform. It could be tool assisted, the migration utility, or it could be done manually if the report type is not supported. But both of these are essentially doing a conversion. The next is recreation. And there we are essentially looking at the reports which should be recreated from scratch. And there can be different reasons for doing that. Most important one, I would say, is the unlocking the new potential of the new platform available to you. Now entire ServiceOps domain is open to you in the new platform. You can pull in data from different pillars of the organization. So both ITSM and ITOM. So you may want to tap into that, or you may want to use any new feature that you see in the platform, and that may end up in a better user experience on those reports. The last one is reuse. So you've looked at all the wonderful out-of-box dashboards that Nikhil talked about. So all of these dashboards can substitute some of the reports that you are planning to migrate. So instead of migrating, if there's something already out there which is doing the same job or even better job, then why not reuse that instead of migration? So once we are done with this kind of planning, we move on to the actual migration. And like I mentioned, it could be tool assisted or done manually. And this goes hand in hand with the validation phase. So where we are asking our end users to review the ones that are converted by the conversion team, and providing their feedback or approval as per the report. Once everything is done and we are end users are happy with the report, we go live with those reports, followed by a knowledge transfer, which completes our pilot phase. And we can then pick up the next a set of priority reports. Now, we've worked with many customers in this journey, so there are certain learnings that I would want to share with all of you. There are some common threads that we have noticed across all customers, and the most important one that I want to talk about is a report sprawl. Over a period of time, reports accumulate, and most organizations don't have a governance structure built around their reporting. So anybody is able to create new report, and over time it adds up. And you might see a big number in the first assessment, but then what we have seen across the board, once we take a closer look, especially at the hit count and the end users review the list, they see that a lot of those reports are not really needed, and for a variety of reasons. And this number varies. I've seen this in general around 50% of reports not really needed for the migration, and going as high as 90%. So 90% reports are just lying there, not being um, either used or not really needed for different reasons. So only 10% were required to be migrated. Every organization is different, and you might have a different number, but something to bear in mind. The reasons that we have seen for this is varies from organizations, but some of the most common reasons are one-time reports. So something was created for one-time use. The report was looked at once and it's not being used. It was not looked at any time later. So we don't need to migrate these kind of reports. Next big chunk that comes in is when owners change, and especially if the report was marked as private, so only they were looking at it. Or maybe the organization structure has changed, so now no longer that report is no longer relevant, or the it's needed in a different way. So we don't need to migrate that, and probably doing it in a different way might be better idea. The next the next learning that I want to talk about is the redundancy of some of the reports. So this goes back to the reuse point that I talked about in the previous slide. So instead of migrating all the reports, we may want to we should look at the out-of-box reports available to us. Some of them might be better suited to represent the data that we want our end users to see, the consumers to see. The other good source is PMC communities, and there are a lot of content contributed by other users, other customers, partners, and some of that might just fit what you are looking for. In addition, there are new consoles available within the product itself. So you have new shared ticket console and asset console available. And especially if you have a report, which is a simple tabular report looking at this kind of a data, I would highly encourage you to go and take a look at these consoles. You can save presets, you can export this data. So it serves most of the expectations when you have a simple tabular report with similar kind of a data. The last one is something that I talked about earlier also. So planning a more tighter scope in our migration phases is definitely recommended. We have seen, like I said, it's very tempting that you want to do it for all in one go, but then again, we miss upon looking at the reports more closely, and if we can take this opportunity to redo some of those reports in a better way. And also the validation becomes a problem if you bombard the end users or consumers with a big number of reports, then they won't be able to validate as closely as they should be doing. So doing small sprints or small iterations, whichever terminology you want to use in your organization, the phases should be more tightly planned. All right. Linked to that, let's talk about 3 of our customers who have gone through this journey. All 3 of them very different from each other. So that's the reason I want to talk about it. The first one that you see on the left is a large government department, and they had really complex reports, a lot of code displays, large code display reports, and the performance was also not great. So we decided the best approach here is, let's take a very closer look on the at the priority reports, and let's see how we can redesign those reports so that the performance also goes up. You are able to leverage the power of the new platform, and it just simplifies the whole process for everybody involved. So after the analysis, after the workshops, we agreed on a 95 priority reports. Customer wanted us to focus on only these 95 priority reports. The migration was done in a very agile way. So we did 10-day sprints. A few reports were picked every at the start of every sprint. So based on their complexity, the number would vary. And the UAT, the user acceptance test for the ones that were converted in the previous sprint will go in parallel, the bug fixes and all the usual agile way. So this is one good approach if you find yourself something, if you have something similar. The next one is a big retail giant, and they are a classic case of report sprawl. And the first assessment, the number came out 11,000 reports, and which obviously is really big. But then when we took a closer look, the number right away dropped to somewhere around 6,000 because the others were not accessed in a long time. So they were just lying there, inflating the count. After taking a closer look, finally, we narrowed down on 381 top priority reports for the pilot phase. And again, the conversion was done in combination of both the migration tool as well as recreating some of the reports. The last one that you see is a large e-commerce player, and the way they planned their migration is very different than the other two. So instead of going report first, they went dashboard first. So that's another way of looking at the reports, another way of prioritizing your reports. So they had 2 dashboards, which were very critical for them. So they started with those 2, which translated to somewhere around 40 reports linked to those dashboards. And then some of them had further report links linked into them. So 57 overall. And these were done in weekly migration cycles. And there were many go lives as well at the end of every week. Now, I won't spend much time here because we have a product demo coming up on this. But what I wanted to highlight is when we are looking at recreating some of the reports, there is a visual query builder available in the product, so which allows you to simply drag and drop, and it generates SQL query. And this is important because if you are doing a migration using the SQL query migration approach, then you won't be able to use Visual Query Builder later on. So it's important to make that take a closer look at the report and see which way we want to go. So with that, let's quickly talk about some of the resources that you can use in planning your migration journey. First one is, of course, the BMC documentation. All the important topics that I covered today, most of them are covered here. All the information is available here, SQL queries, the visualization mappings, and so on. So this should be your first stop. Next, we have few more resources available on our BMC documentation or communities. BMC education courses. You may want to take a look at the latest ones available to you. There are a lot of new courses coming out with every release, and you have courses available right from an overview up to a expert level administrator certification. BMC communities, I touched upon the community contributed content, but you can also go to communities for posting your questions, which will be answered by other users and BMC employees. And you may also find some of the articles, blogs that are posted there useful. Finally, if you need help from BMC professional services to come and help you with the migration, there are two offerings that might be helpful to you. So one is smart reporting to Helix Dashboard migration starter service. And it's more focused on migrating from smart reporting to Helix Dashboard. And the one on the right is more focused around starting from scratch. So if you are not looking at this migration, or you have a different tool, then you may want to go with the one on the right. Both of them have similar structure. So you will have an architect help you with the workshops, plan the migration, then a subject matter expert helps you do the actual execution, followed by a knowledge transfer. With that, I'll pass it back to Nikhil. Thank you.
Thanks, Abhinay. Okay, so we're now going to look at a recorded demo of Visual Query Builder. Visual Query Builder is our drag and drop tool that allows users without technical skills to build reports and dashboards. You've seen across our customer base, there are several people who know what they're looking for, but they may not be familiar with the underlying forms or tables and the ability to write SQL, be able to know how to join multiple tables, inner join, outer join, whatever. Visual Query Builder is a tool for such users. It provides a graphical user interface for anyone with the necessary permissions to develop dashboards by just dragging and dropping fields from a view onto the report canvas. So I'm now going to start playing the video. And after that, after you see the first part of this demo is focused on Visual Query Builder. The second part is Reporting Metadata Studio. This is a developer tool that allows you to extend the capabilities of VQB to your custom forms, custom fields, and custom applications. So with that, I am now going
Hello
to start
everyone.
this demo.
I'm going to show you all Visual Query Builder and Reporting Metadata Studio, how it helps to create dashboard very quickly. And as a smart reporting user, Visual Query Builder gives you a similar experience of creating dashboard. So let's see how we can use Visual Query Builder to create dashboards. Okay, so this is our Helix portal, first landing page on the Helix portfolio. I'm just opening Helix dashboard from here. Okay, so this is just my home screen. I'm just closing this dock window. Okay, so I'll just use this first plus button to create new dashboard. I'm creating a new dashboard. I'm just clicking on add new visualization. For getting data from different application, different BMC Helix application, we have this dashboard. Okay, so for service management, again, there are three types. Either you can use this form to create, or you can use SQL or Visual Query Builder, these two options. So SQL is freehand SQL, and Visual Query Builder, the one that I was talking about, which gives you a similar experience like a smart reporting to create dashboard. Okay, so I'm just clicking on this Visual Query Builder. It opens this entire screen, and if you see here, the view is selected. And first view is incident management. So if you see, there are many views provided by BMC as a out of box, like this change management, problem management, work order, and so on. So for now, for this demo, I'm just going to use visual incident management as a view. This view, when I say view, it's a combination of multiple forms in the AR, and also the join, and also the fields from that particular form or the column from that particular table. Okay, so if you see here, there are categories, like we call this as a fields. Okay, so incident management, and these are all incident related. Then we have some which are like only the date type. So if you notice, the icon represent that this is a date and time type of field. If you see here, these are the submitters, so it's a string, okay, a string text type of. Then priority is again enum field. Okay, and similarly, we have some which is like total transfer or group transfer. These are the number field. So that way we have the different icons for different type of field. So let's say if I want to generate a report, let's say a simple report, show me the incident number and its priority. I can simply just drag these two fields. I can click on preview. It will show me, okay, the first 100 rows just for a preview, what query I have selected. And if I want to see, okay, what query it is getting generated at the back end, I can simply click on this SQL and it will show that. So if I just click on use query, my panel is ready. I can click on apply and I can save this dashboard. That way my simple panel is ready. I don't need to write a SQL here. I can simply use this drag and drop functionality to create a report. Okay. So if I want to do some aggregation, let's say, right, I want priority wise number of incidents, let's say, then I can use these aggregate functions. So depending on the field type, there are some aggregate functions associated. So if I click on this now, this will show me the count of incident number based on the priority. This is aggregation function on top of some field, right? We just need to use this three dot and use these functions. If we don't want to use field and then aggregation, there are some predefined calculated field which are like similar to this. Let's say count of incident will give you, if I want to have count of incident, I can simply use this number of incident field, calculated field directly as well. Okay, so I'll just remove this. I'll click on preview and use query. So now this is showing me data for all priority. Let's say I want to filter this data based on the priority. So I can simply add this priority in the category, in the filter, and I can use these values. So as this is enum, we pre-populate the values for it. So I can simply say critical. I'll say preview. It will just show me the data only for critical. When I click on apply, this panel will show data only for critical priority. This visual query builder is like mostly used for creating a query and getting data into the Helix dashboard. Rest all functionality like visualization, all schedule, everything will be same. So there is no change in user experience for that. It is same for all. Now, let's say I have created this panel, but there are use cases where we need a variable or a filter, right? So we can use Visual Query Builder as a filter as well. So let's say I want to create a filter for priority. I can simply say enable query editor, and this will open. This will show me the UI for Visual Query Builder. And here I want to create a filter for priority. So I'll just drag and drop this priority field here in the selection, and I'll click on preview. So these many values. Here I cannot drag multiple things because for variable, it requires only one column. So only one field I can drag and drop. We can have some functions to it. We can add filters even in the variable that we can do, but only one field in the variable. Okay. So I just click on use query and my panel is ready. Okay. If I click on apply, if I go back to dashboard, this will show critical, high, low, medium as a filter, and I can use that here as well. So how to use that? Earlier, with the SQL mode, we have to add that variable reference in the query. Now with the Visual Query Builder, we can simply use this button. Instead of default values, I will use template as priority. I'll just remove this. I will just click on preview. And now this will show data for critical because first selection is critical. If I switch to high, this will show data for high. If I switch to low, it will show data for low. So this way we can link variable in the VQB as well. Okay. So yeah, these are the Visual Query Builder options flow. If I also want to show you a few more things, like there are multiple out-of-box dashboard similar to incident management. Also, this list will show some custom dashboard as well. Let's say if you have any customization done on the AR side and that is not covered in these out-of-box dashboard, out-of-box views, then we have to modify these views, add our customization, and again publish that view to Helix dashboard so that report editors can use this view. For that customization, what we have another application which is reporting metadata studio. Okay, so to get that studio, what you can do, you can just simply go to administration, then general, then you will see a tile for reporting metadata studio. Okay, from here you can use this download button. It will download one zip file, which is a Windows application, Windows standalone application that you need to execute or run on any Windows server where you have the casing setup with AR database. Okay, because this tool will need a connectivity between Helix dashboard plus AR database. Okay, for that we can configure casing and some of the details which are required. You can get it from here, right? This AR host and port. These are some dummy values because these are the casing gateway host and port. Okay, you can simply use this copy to clipboard button to copy these values. Okay, so now if we talk about reporting metadata studio, so I have just downloaded this zip file from Helix dashboard and I extracted that. It shows me this particular folder, reporting metadata editor. Here we have this BMC auth configuration, and in this we have to just do a configuration for my ADE information. Okay, so what is my ADE tenant? That information I can quickly get from here from the portal. This is my tenant URL, this is my tenant ID, this is my tenant URL. Again, AR host and port, this is the casing configuration. So if I just show you, this is my casing configuration file where I've configured this host with this IP address and with this port. So that way I have configured this, and those details I have mentioned here. REST endpoint, this is a platform URL which you can get it from Helix dashboard. Like go to connection, open this particular BMC Helix data source, and inside this there is a platform URL. From here you can get this information. Environment alias, you can give any. For now I'm using this for demo, so that's why I'm giving given alias as a demo. We can have QA, prod, or dev, any name we can give. This is just a alias. Okay, so this is the environment file. Then we have profile file as well, where we need to mention key and secret of the user who is a reporting admin. Okay, so I'm using this user, IUR user 2, and he is an administrator. Rather, instead of reporting administrator, he is a tenant administrator. And for him, how to get the user access key and secret? So on the Helix portal, if I go to my profile, then I have this option, right, to get my access keys. From here, I can simply click on add key and I can give some name and I'll generate my access key for this account. This key has two parts. One is access key and another one is a secret that we can mention, that we can copy and paste in this file and save this file. So with this, all my reporting metadata studio configuration is done. I am ready to open reporting metadata studio. So what I will do, I'll just open this reporting metadata studio in the edit mode. Sorry. Yeah. And I'll just open this batch file. Okay. Reporting metadata studio requires JDK, OpenJDK 17 and above. I have just configured 17 here on this server. This will like do authentication with the respect of your access key and secret, and opens up this UI. So whenever you open first time, you'll see like this blank screen. There is no connection, nothing. This is our first landing screen for reporting metadata studio. Here we have some option. This is a Windows normal application. which we can use to modify view. Okay. So before we modify, we can get these out-of-box views plus the custom views from Helix Dashboard. So if you see, these are all out-of-box dashboard provided. These are all custom dashboards which I have created on this set. Okay. To start with any customization, we have three options. Either you can take any out-of-box dashboard, do the modification, save it with some different name, and publish to the Helix dashboard, and your view will be ready. Or else you can create from scratch. Just click on this new and start creating your view. Or third option is we can use this sample metadata view as a baseline where we have only two table and few columns from that table and one join. So that we can take it as a reference and extend that according to your need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take again incident management, same view. I'm just clicking on OK to import. It asks me to save this model with some name. So I'll give 1009, INC 1009. Click on OK. Now what this reporting metadata studio will do, it will actually download this view from Helix dashboard. As being this Helix dashboard as a SaaS application, all the views are stored at the SaaS or the S3 level. Okay. So it will download that file, load that file into this reporting metadata studio, and we are ready to modify this particular view. So if you see, this is our out-of-box dashboard, which consists of HPD help desk, association, base element, task, impact areas, work log. These many tables are already added, table or form included in these views. This line shows the relationship between these two columns. This is like hierarchy of the relationship. This is A and this is B. And if you mouse over, you can see the relationship between all these tables or forms. Okay. Before we start, I just need to create a connection to the database. So I'm just opening this connection, database connection. This is a generic database connection to the AR server. Okay, it uses this URL which we pre-populate depending on the configuration in that environment file. Only thing is user need to provide username and password. So I'm going to use same user, right? And I'm just clicking on this test button to verify if my connection is ready. Okay, so my connection is on. Clicking on OK. And now I can use this button to import the table. Okay. So here, import table. Now what I need to add one column, one new table in this view, and one column from that table. So for that, I'm just using this import table. This will show me all the tables from the AR. This list also includes all the customization done into the AR system. So just for demo, I'm going to use HPD statistics as a column, which is not there in this view. I'm just selecting that. I'm clicking on OK. Now, if you see, my table is added here. as a physical table. Okay, these are all physical tables. Now, in this business model, we have to add this new table as a business table. So I'm just clicking on add new business table. I'm selecting this, and now this HPD help desk, HPD statistics, which was physical table, now it added as a business table. Now I need to add relationship between these two. So I can click on new relationship. I'll say HPD help desk of incident number. Let's say incident number. Let me just get that. Incident number and HPD help desk statistics and its instance counter. With this, I'm going to join because I know this schema. So I'm going to join these two table with the inner join. So I'm selecting inner join and I'm clicking on OK. So if you see, this line is generated and it shows the relationship between these two tables. I'm just simply saving this, okay, just to preserve my work. Now, after you save this, okay, this will take some time. Now, what next? I want few column, which I want to use it as a field from this statistic table. So what I will do, I'll just add new category. Okay, I'm just, when I say category, it is the folder which we have seen on the Visual Query Builder. I'll say stats, and new folder is created. I'm just going to add few fields. Let's say status in this particular stat folder. I'll say user. I want user. I want company. I think that's all for now, just for a demo. And I'm clicking OK. So if you see, these three fields got added. And if you notice, like these are all the fields which we see on the Visual Query Builder in this same order. So I'm just clicking on save again, just to save. Now my changes, whatever the changes that I wanted to do as a customization in out-of-box dashboard, that is done. I just want to verify my changes and verify my join. So here we have this query builder. We can use this query builder just to verify the changes. Okay. So I'm just selecting, okay, incident number I want, which is from HPD help desk, and I want these three fields which I have added, which are from HPD statistics that I have added. I can simply click on this SQL and see, okay, how is the join created. So if you see, the join is correct, also the columns are there. And I can click on this run button. So, okay, so it will show me some data as well, so first 5,000 rows for the preview purpose. Okay, so now I'm happy with all my changes that I wanted to do in the view. I'm saving this one more time just to not miss anything. And next step is, as this studio is on my Windows machine, I want to make this view available for all the reporting user, right? Report editor. So what I have again published to Helix dashboard option. And here I can see demo. And this is the alias which I have given in this file, right? The alias. So here we have this option as well, configure tenant environment. Let's say there is a use case, you are creating this view on the dev environment. You test everything on the dev environment, but you don't want to create a view again on the QA or on the prod. You just want to publish this to QA or prod, right? So in that case, you can configure another tenant environment by using this option, and then give some different alias and select that name to publish your view. Right now, I have only one, so I'm just selecting this demo. Okay. It is asking me for some name, so I'll give the same name, INC 1009, today's date. I'll simply say, okay. Now, what it will do, this reporting metadata studio will again generate an XML file, check the authentication, like the reporting metadata studio authentication, upload this file to report to Helix Dashboard. Okay, so this is now upload is done. It shows this is available. So if I go back again to Helix Dashboard, and if I try to create a new dashboard using VQB, okay. So let's say I am a viewer or report editor here. Now, if I want to use the views which is created by admin, so I'll just say INC 1009. Okay. So this view is available for me, and I can see, okay, stat folder is also I can see here. I'll again create same report on the VQB as well. Let's say incident number, status, user, and company. And I'll click on preview. This will show me again a similar result. Okay. So this way we can do customization in the reporting, in the out-of-box views, or we can have the different views depending on all our customization done in the AR database. So yeah, that's what I. Hello everyone. So
All right, we're now ready to go to the last section of this workshop, which is the product roadmap. We just saw a demo of Visual Query Builder. This is now generally available, a drag and drop report designer that allows you to create reports without having to write SQL. We've got all metadata views for all the important objects in service management. How can you extend your metadata views to report on your custom fields and applications? We just saw in Reporting Metadata Studio. So this is an admin tool that you can use to extend the capabilities of Visual Query Builder. We saw this in the demo too. Now, over time, we have also made improvements to VQB, adding some operators, not in, between, in, and so on. Adding date string functions. Typically, you may have to apply string functions to convert all your data, your text data to lowercase or uppercase. Oftentimes, you have to do that for if your data is not good quality. Sometimes your data, your certain fields may have leading spaces or trailing spaces. If you want to strip them off, you'll use functions like ltrim, rtrim. You can also convert dates into certain date types, like just display the weekday for a particular date or day, month, and so on. You can do all of that using these functions. Likewise, some additional operators is null, is not null, equal, and so on. Now, all of this is now available. Next is role-based access control. This is again a recent feature that allows you much more granular control over roles and permissions. Up until now, roles were controlled from BMC Helix portal, but now we have decoupled these roles from portal. So you can now create your custom roles within BMC Helix dashboards. Why would you do that? You can do that to create custom roles, and we have a UI that you can use to grant them permissions to all your custom roles. And with this, you can create custom roles to allow only specific roles to download reports, for example, or if you have a need that only certain roles should be able to manage data sources, or if you want to restrict access to folders to just specific roles, you can now do all of that using RBAC. All of this is explained in detail in our product documentation. Export improvements. So we see that in most companies, the most common way for consumers of information to consume dashboards is through exported reports, export to Excel or CSV or PDF being the most common one. So we have improved the PDF export functionality in the past few releases. So even if the result set on the UI requires you to scroll, when the report is exported, it shows all the records, not just a screenshot. You can repeat headers. There's support for branding in PDF export. So several value-added improvements you'll notice in recent releases. We have delivered a few dashboards in AIOps, anomalies overview, anomalies by service, and univariate anomalies by device. Formatting improvements. So being able to handle things like word wrap or carriage return. All of these are roadmap items in the next few releases. You can now receive formatted reports in your inbox. So this is something we will deliver in an upcoming release. So you can now schedule your report so that the recipients will receive the report or dashboard in the body of an email rather than as an attachment. We also support other methods like PDF, CSV, Excel. You can also export your reports to FTP locations, and we support multiple FTP locations. Another use case is to support dashboards for managed service providers. So some companies provide ITSM managed services to their end customers. We will allow these MSP operators to take advantage of the MSP capabilities of dashboard, so that even if you're managing multiple customers, your customers will have access just to their data. And as an MSP, you will have access to the data of all of your customers. And in doing so, we will also honor the various authentication protocols, or whether you use SSO, SAML, whatever, will honor all of that security when enabling MSPs. Likewise, on the IT operations management side, showing in one dashboard, you'll be able to develop a dashboard where you have got one panel for each of your tenants or your end customers. Your customers will just see their own data. As an MSP, you have access to all of your tenants' data. Backing up dashboards. So backing up your dashboard definitions and schedules, just in case someone deletes a dashboard inadvertently or a schedule. It's not an intention, but oftentimes we see where customers have deleted a dashboard JSON file and need to retrieve it from a backup. So backing up, automating the backups at regular intervals, allowing you to restore backups as necessary. All of these are roadmap items. Audit trail to keep a watch on or keep a log of what every user does, who created a dashboard, who modified it, who last modified it, creation, modification of folders, who created schedules, who deleted dashboards and schedules. All these things are planned. Scheduling improvements, as I said, scheduling is one of the most common way for consumers of information to receive their dashboards. So we'll continue to innovate in this area. Conditional scheduling is about scheduling a dashboard only if it fulfills certain conditions. So for example, if a dashboard has no data, then don't send it to the recipients. What's the point in viewing a blank attachment? So we'll look at some of these use cases. The next one is interesting. Dynamic recipient scheduling. This is about not having a static list of recipients, but a dynamic list that's determined from another dashboard or the results set of another panel in that dashboard. So depending on who appears, we send them the dashboards. Usability improvements to will continue to enhance or improve usability of dashboards in future releases. Another one is to allow sending dashboards to a team. Currently, you need to send it to every user, but if you have a team, then it should be possible to send dashboards to teams as well. Likewise, another use case is when someone leaves the company, the user becomes inactive, then make that user's schedules inactive so that someone else can then schedule them again. We'll continually deliver dashboard content across ITSM, CMDB, Digital Workplace, and our ITOM products. The ones that you've seen in highlighted or with a blue dotted line, those are the ones we have delivered in recent releases. So Incident Agent, Problem Agent, and Change Agent dashboards. And the others are on the roadmap in the next few releases. Usage statistics, and another important feature set. This is for the admins of dashboard. This will allow you to measure the adoption of dashboards at your company, which you'll be able to find out which dashboards are most used or least used, what visualizations are most commonly used at your company, which dashboards use plugins that are deprecated. This is going to be a continual process. Although we continue to deliver plugins in the IT world, we all know that eventually every software components must face end of life. For security reasons, you need to do that, and will allow you to look at or find out which dashboards use plugins that have been deprecated. Also give you the pattern of usage, that is users, who are your top users, your active users, and so on. How many dashboards and panels for every Helix product that you own, so that you know which product teams are developing dashboards, which ones not. Failed schedules. This is a very important one so that you can take action on schedules that have failed and start them again or investigate why they failed. Slightly long-term, these strategy items are slightly long-term. We'll look at embedding dashboard widgets in BMC Helix products. For example, in Smart IT or in business workflows, we can embed a dashboard so that users don't have to come to dashboards. At least on their homepage, they can run their favorite dashboards. With BMC Marketplace, you'll be able to share your dashboards with others. By this, I mean the ability to share your dashboard definition or JSON. If you want to share, if you've developed a good dashboard and you want to share with others, you can do that. You can browse through Marketplace, the BMC Marketplace, and you can download dashboards that others have created. This is an excellent opportunity for you to network with other customers, partners, share what you have learned with others, and benefit from what others have learned. Design partnership. Sam, do you want to cover this? Okay, looks like Sam is not on. At BMC, we are happy to partner with you when we design our products and solutions. So we have a cross-functional team within BMC across product management, R&D, user experience, and so on. We can engage our customers so that you can make your voice heard, and we can engage you as we develop our products. You'll get early access to what we're developing, access to demos, and so on. So this is a good way for BMC to know how our solutions resonate with our customers. It's also an opportunity for our customers and partners to make sure that BMC is aware of your use cases. If you want to sign up to be a design partner, please scan this QR code and submit that form. These are some useful links of our past recordings. We do this workshop usually every month, but this is not the only one. After every major release, we deliver a webinar on key features of dashboard. So we did one on 24.2, we did one on 24.3. There's one coming up on 24.4 in mid-October. We also routinely organize Ask the Expert sessions where the agenda is just Q&A. There's no agenda in terms of, there's no content that we present. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions based on where you are in the journey. You have access to experts and you can ask questions and get our answers.
Actually, Nikhil, just quickly on those dates, I will send out the dates to everyone. So it's the 1st of October, we have the RC Experts Helix Dashboard session. Love to have many of you to join that session. And then we've got another workshop, which is on the 15th of October. So if there is anyone from your team or colleagues or other partners, customers that you know, feel free to share that. That's the 15th. And then the features one we're doing is on Thursday, the 17th of October. And I will share all those links out to everyone post-event, including some of the ones we've had in July and August. We will update this page as well. I'm very conscious we've got quite a few open questions actually, and hopefully everyone's found that useful. So while I take the first question and read it out to you, I will then start unmuting everyone. We did have a question from Paul, or I say a question, it was more, will we share the recording? Absolutely. So for everyone else that's on here, everything we've recorded today, the slides, all the details we'll be sharing, including the Q&A, and I will be pointing you to other links for other Q&A because that's also going to be very helpful when you go through your migration. We had a question, Nikhil, from Jamie, and I think Jamie is still on. I'll double check in a sec. I'm fairly new to BMC products and struggle with a lot of these acronyms. Is there a list where this is broken down? And don't worry, Jamie, I feel exactly the same. And every company or type of business you go into, we've all got acronyms. So Nikhil, maybe you could just give him a bit of insight. I saw you just answer that question.
Yes, I just responded online.
Yeah.
We have an entity relationship diagram of ITSM. It will help you understand the data model of ITSM so that you know how to join one object with another. Yes, all customers require it.
Hi, Nikhil.
Hey, Jamie.
Thanks so much for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's just when you're going through the list of forms that are available, I know they're pretty standard terms. It's just that I'm new to BMC products altogether, so I'm not used to them. That's all.
Yes, certainly.
Thanks, Jamie. Do you have any other questions while you're off mute?
It was just the other one, if that's okay, please. One of them has been answered. It was just that I noticed that when I've been building forms, I prefer to use SQL. And I noticed that some forms, they're named very similar, especially the knowledge management and the asset forms. And a lot of them seem to contain the same columns across them. Are those just duplicates, or are they separate? Are they different columns which contain different kinds of data? Some of them are obviously the same, such as, it could be a request ID, for example.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
No, RKM is Remedy Knowledge Management, AST is Asset. So they will contain, they are different entities, so the data will be different.
Yeah, no, so it was just those two specifically as an example. But for example, you've got multiple forms to do with remedy knowledge management, and you've got multiple forms to do with the asset console. But they seem to have similar columns across them. I weren't sure if they were just duplicates, or if they were different and had held different data in them.
They're not duplicates for sure. When I shared the ER diagram with you, I hope it will answer these questions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll have a look. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Another question we had from Zoya. Where can I find the SQL list for checking difficulty level on reports?
I'm not sure I understand this question. Do you want to unmute them?
Zoya, I
Sam?
don't know if I'm just checking if Zoya is still here. Yes, Zoya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. Hello. I think on the just 1 second. You showed us a table where you can see all names of reports, also with how many calculated field it has, or if it has core tabs or something like that. And you already mentioned that this is a SQL query. Could I find somewhere this SQL query to check it on my reports?
I'm not sure I understand. Kshitija, can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, you are.
If you're looking for initial analysis of all the reports, like which reports are simple versus which are difficult, which has calculated fields and which are not, like this, if you are looking for that kind of report, then we can get that kind of information by connecting to the smart reporting database. So our team is having all those queries handy to get the information, and that analysis can be done by running database queries and getting the report in Excel.
Yes, I'm looking exactly for this one, for the which you already mentioned, where I can find these queries.
Well, I'm not very sure about the process. Abhinay, you are there, but yes, this happens for the customers. And
Yeah, so
Abhinay, you're there? Yeah.
so there are two options. One is if you want to do that assessment yourself, then the documentation has all those queries listed, and you can execute those against a smart reporting database and get the details. The other is if you're if you are taking help from PS, then we do that for you.
Okay, thanks. I'd like to do it myself, but I need
Sure.
to find this article where they are listed.
Sure. It's the link will be provided in the PowerPoint slide. I'll also put that in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for your question. Thank you. We do have another question. Where is the documentation with the SR queries? That was from Robert. Robert, if you can hear us, feel free to come off mute.
Yeah, I think that was just answered that you're going to provide them.
Okay.
So I also,
Yes.
while I'm here, I have another. You were discussing evaluating the usage of reports, and I was not able to get a a usage with the report hit counts within a date range. It seemed to be forever. Is there a query for that? Like, I want to see how many reports were run in the last 6 months, right? Because if a report was used 2 years ago, but not recently,
Yes.
might
So
not be
this,
relevant.
yes, sure, Robert. This is a roadmap item. This is something we will deliver in an upcoming release. You'll see these. You'll be able to measure your most. You'll be able to measure your most commonly used reports, your least commonly your least used reports. You want to know how many times a certain report was used in the past quarter. You'll be able to do that. So yes,
Yeah,
all of these are roadmap items.
but that's not going to get us information before this migration, right? And then,
Just sorry for pitching it in. So you are asking about smart reporting reports usage, right?
correct, in anticipation of the migration, which we have just started, so.
Yeah, so so again, the same thing. If you are able to connect to the smart reporting database and run the database queries, maybe we can provide those queries to you. Then we can get that hit count from smart reporting database. But yeah, as
Right,
Nikhil
and I
mentioned,
am,
on the dashboard side, the feature is yet to be
yeah,
in.
no,
It's documented. So we have documented how you can run the smart reporting assessment utility.
Yeah.
Those are queries depending on the database that you're running. You pick the right set of queries, run them on the database, and they will tell you which of your reports in smart reporting are used, which ones not, which ones have been used in the past 90 days. So you can, which reports are active, which ones not.
and is there still a hard stop date on smart reporting?
For SaaS, we are considering shutting down smart reporting in April next year, by the end of April.
Okay, because I had a date that was this year, and
Yes. For SaaS customers, yes, it will be extended to April 2025.
for everyone,
For everyone, we haven't gotten to the details yet. We
Right.
encourage customers to get off smart reporting as soon as possible. Most customers, we see many customers are at different stages of migration. Most customers will be able to run smart reporting until April.
okay, I'll check with my
Yes,
account rep.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I think we did have a hand raised. Shrikant, I don't know if you still had your question. Feel free to ask.
Oh,
Hi, thanks for giving me the opportunity. I have a question. We are building the reports using Visual Query Builder, and we can see the same report in the SQL query. Okay, and we can see whatever the options we have selected in the row, in the columns, and those can be seen in the SQL query. Okay, now my question is, there is a complex report created by some person, okay, using different forms and all. So can I convert that SQL query and see it is in Visual Query Builder? Is that possible?
That's a good question. You cannot, because Visual Query Builder relies on the views that are created, the metadata views. Now, if a report is created based on a SQL query, it may not have the same joins that are there in the metadata view. For example, let's say we have an inner join between HPD help desk and some other table, whereas your report that you brought over from smart reporting uses an outer join. So how will it work? It may not work. So there will be challenges with trying to convert migrated reports with using Visual Query Builder.
Okay, got it.